A police officer was forced to strip down to her underwear, wins £800,000 in discrimination case. I'm going to read into this more from the Independent, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with an article from the Independent with the headline that a police officer was forced to strip down to her underwear, wins £800,000 in discrimination case. The detective Inspector Rebecca Kalam joined West Midlands Police in 2012 and served in the firearms unit. Now, what on earth, before we even read the story, guys, let's just take a step back for a second here, right? What on earth is stripping someone down to their underwear in any way, shape or form? What is the training or even necessity behind that for in police training? Okay, now if you are a former police officer or a police officer, or maybe someone in the military, explain to me the benefits of stripping them down to their underwear and what exactly they're in tune. In any case, by the way, explain that to me as someone who's never been in the armed forces or been in the police forces. Explain to me where the benefits of that are. Because as of right now, I don't see any benefits to this whatsoever. Whatever the reason behind this. Because this for me is pure discrimination. Because I don't understand this. Why was she told to do this? I just think it's disgusting. I wonder how many guys were forced to do this. How many guys were forced to do this? But because she's a woman, she was treated indifferently here. And just it makes you wonder just how many were asked to do the same thing as well. I just we have talked about the institutional racism within police forces. We don't really talk enough about the discrimination on women in the police forces, do we? And this is a case that's highlighting it. And £800,000, guys, £800,000 of taxpayers' money is going towards her win. And while I'm glad that she's won her case, it should never have happened in the first place. And the perception that I have just before we even read into it is that she's simply treated indifferently, simply because she's a woman. A former firearms officer who was forced to strip down to her underwear during her training has won over £800,000 in a sex discrimination case against West Midlands Police. Detective Inspector Rebecca Kalam was subject to sexual harassment and discrimination while working for the police force. The former firearms officer who joined the force in 2012 had dreamed about becoming chief constable to try and change the culture from the inside. And I appreciate her trying to want to change the police force for the better, and that's sometimes rather than shouting and screaming on the outside, try and change it from the inside, and that was ultimately what she wanted to do. And I applaud her for going in there and wanting to try and change things for the better. I really do. I really, really do. An employment tribunal heard she was stripped down to her underwear during a training exercise so first aid could be given. Now, why did they need to be stripped down to give first aid? The scenario was based on a bullet hole on top of her left breast, which officers would then have to treat, and this left her feeling extremely uncomfortable. Of all the places for you to do a scenario on a bullet hole, you did it there. On another occasion, she was told, just because you have does not mean you cannot do a press-up, as an officer pushed down on her neck with her foot. That's disgusting. Why would you do that? That is what you would call, that right there, that's toxic masculinity right there. To do that to someone, on a woman as well. Man or woman. Like, what is the benefit of someone doing a press up and you're pushing down on their neck? Again, if you're a former officer or an officer or in the military, explain to me the benefit of this. I understand you have to be. I understand, yeah, you have to push people. I understand that you need to push people out of their comfort zones and stuff. But do you really need to push down on their neck with your foot? The 40-year-old was one of only 7 women within the firearms team with 250 men and faced a toxic and discriminatory culture. Mrs. Kalam successfully sued the force for harassment, sex discrimination and victimisation and winning a total of £820,000. West Midlands have confirmed that the 3 serving firearm officers are currently suspended and 10 are in disciplinary process. In a statement following the original tribunal, Ms. Kalam said, "I have had the ambition and drive to progress to senior ranks up to Chief Constable, and I was on track to do so. One of the reasons I stayed on the department was to try and change the culture from the inside," she added. The decision to award her compensation for loss and earnings and pension was the unanimous decision of the tribunal panel. West Midlands Deputy Chief Constable Scott Green said, "I am sorry that more was not done sooner to address the serious issues raised by Ms. Kalam, and I apologise for the significant impact that these have on which have been highlighted during the tribunal. There is no place in policing for misogyny, discriminating or disrespectful behaviour, and much progress has been made to set and reinforce the highest standards of conduct and professionalism." Well, and unless you start treating them with the same dignity and respect, instead of just looking at them as goddamn eye candy, we wouldn't have wasted so much money on this whole case. The tribunal recognises that we have taken the grievance and disciplinary matters raised by Ms. Kalam seriously. The steps that we have taken to help us to attract and retain the best and most diverse people in firearms policing and benefit those already working in this critical area. We continue to make progress and ensure that we are trusted by the public as we go about our duty to protect them. He continued that over the past 2 years, the firearms unit has worked to improve its culture and standard and review how they recruit officers to increase diversity. The West Midlands Police and Crime Commissioner Simon Foster said, "I have been committed to constate and remit action to hold the Chief Constable and West Midlands Police to account to ensure that action has been taken to eliminate any and all misogyny, racism, homophobia and unlawful discrimination from within the firearms operating unit and West Midlands Police more widely." Obviously, this was back in 2012, guys, so obviously we're talking 12 years ago. But still, has things changed for women? Has it changed in particular in West Midlands Police? I think is the question. We can't specifically comment on others, but I do get this perception and feeling that there are many women up and down in the police forces that are, I'm going to say particularly in England, I'm not going to comment on Scotland or Wales, but who are perhaps not being treated within the same level of dignity and respect as men. And I think that if it's not changing, it needs to change. And I think that I would hope that things have changed so much since then from West Midlands Police since then. They say they have, but whether they have or not is another matter, guys. Because we've talked, how many times have I talked about the discrimination and indiscrimination that the police have had in England? It really is quite horrific in terms of institutionally racist. Are they institutionally sexist? I would not go that far. That's for those to decide. But I would say that this case is probably not the only case. It would not surprise me, unfortunately. But I admire her for trying to change things from the inside, and I hope that more women are not discouraged from joining the police force, and do want to try and change the police force for the better. Although my position is that I don't think reform is the answer anymore for the police, because we've talked about it enough times about it. So what do you make of this case? Do we believe that the police force, do we believe specifically West Midlands Police is discriminatingly sexist? Or is this a one-off case that happened over 12 years ago? What do you guys honestly think? Do you think it happens in your area? What do you make of women in the police force in England in particular? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Hit the like button, be greatly appreciated. Share this across social media. Hit that bell notification icon so you'll be notified when I upload another video. And if you want to financially support me, you can do so by joining me on YouTube here for just 99p, or joining me on Patreon for exclusive content. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.